99% of job seekers say they've applied to jobs online and never heard back. Maybe this sounds familiar. You spend hours applying to dozens of jobs online and then silence. No interviews, no response at all. If you're still clicking apply now and expecting different results, you're making a huge mistake. In this video, I'll show you exactly why your online job applications are getting ignored and the step-by-step strategy we use with our clients to break the cycle of chasing job postings, flip the script, and get the recruiters to reach out to you instead. We've all been there. You're searching for a new leadership role, you find the perfect job posting, you submit your application, and nothing. No response, no feedback. It's like your resume got sucked into a black hole. So what's the problem? You're doing exactly what hundreds, maybe even thousands of other candidates are doing, thinking that clicking apply now is the easy button to landing your next role. But at the leadership level, that approach simply doesn't work. Today, I'll show you a smarter way to apply, one that puts you in front of the decision makers and gets you the interview. Applying to jobs online feels productive. It gives you a sense of activity and progress. But in reality, it's just busy work. That's why 99% of job seekers say that they've applied online and never heard back. So why is this happening? The first reason is your resume gets lost in a sea of applications. Hiring managers are overwhelmed with resumes, especially for high-level roles. In this market, for every open role, they get hundreds, again, maybe thousands of applications. Your resume isn't being carefully reviewed, it's simply getting buried. The second reason is many job postings are just formalities. Some positions already have a preferred candidate, an internal employee, a referral, or someone from the hiring manager's personal network. But companies still post the job to comply with hiring policies that they may have. That means in many cases, you're competing for a job that was never truly available. In fact, surveys reveal that 40% of companies reported publishing these fictional jobs. These so-called ghost jobs are nothing more than a tick mark on someone's recruiting checklist and a complete waste of your time. The third reason is you're also applying blind. Think about it. Do you know why this position is open? Do you know which requirements actually matter most in the list of requirements for the job? Do you know who influences the hiring decisions? If you don't know the answers, you're just submitting a resume into the black hole where you have little visibility and absolutely no control. The key takeaway here is that clicking apply now isn't an easy button. It's a time trap that gives you a false sense of progress. Now, let's talk about how hiring actually happens so you can start improving your odds. If you want to land a leadership role, you need to understand who actually influences the hiring decisions. First, the hiring manager. This is the person with the budget, the one who has a leadership gap on their team and needs the right person to solve business problems. The hiring manager is your most important contact in this process. Secondly, we've got HR. HR doesn't usually make final hiring decisions. They screen applications, coordinate interviews, but they tend not to decide who gets hired, although they may have some discussion in that process. What about executive recruiters? Well, the higher up you are in the organization, the more likely an executive recruiter will be involved in the hiring process. Their task is to bring the best candidates to the table. But keep in mind, they don't work for you, they work for their client who pays their fee. They're not out there hunting for candidates to market. Their job is to fill specific leadership roles for their clients. So unless you align with an active search that they have, you simply won't be a priority for them. Now let's take a minute and talk about referrals and networking. Here's why networking is a game changer at the leadership level. Referrals and networking aren't just helpful in the hiring process, they're absolutely essential. Why? Because hiring is a team sport. Unlike entry-level positions, where a hiring manager might make a quick decision based on a resume and 1 or 2 interviews, leadership roles involve multiple stakeholders. At the executive level, hiring managers don't just trust resumes, they trust referrals. They want somebody who's already vetted by someone that they know. When a current executive or industry peer says, "I know this person, they'd be a great fit," that instantly puts you ahead of the other candidates who are relying on applications alone. And when someone in the room says, "I've worked with them before," or "I saw their insights on LinkedIn," you suddenly have credibility that an online application, no matter how good your resume is, simply cannot provide. So consider this. In order to get hired, you need to work around the online application process and connect with the right people, the ones who have influence over the hiring decision. So let's talk about how to actually do that in practice. Instead of waiting for an automated rejection email, here's what to do instead. Research the hiring manager and the team. Before you even apply, use LinkedIn to find out who is the hiring manager, who else is on their team, what do you already know about that company, and who do you already know at that company. The more you know, the better your approach will be. And this is where you can leverage your network. A referral instantly makes you 10 times more likely to land that interview. So reach out to former colleagues, reach out to industry connections, reach out to friends who work at the company. Even if they're not the decision maker, they can introduce you to someone who is. And how do you make the recruiters work for you? Well, most people take the wrong approach. They spam recruiters with their resumes. Instead, find industry-specific recruiters who specialize in your field. Then position yourself as a high-value candidate so they want to introduce you to the right companies. If you need help with this, check out our video on how to identify and connect with the most influential executive recruiters in your industry niche. I'll make sure to include a link to that video in the description below. So what do you do if you want the recruiters and the hiring managers to reach out to you? Well, start sharing your insights in your industry. Post on LinkedIn, join industry discussions. When you're visible as a leader in your field, opportunities begin to find you instead of you chasing them. So instead of waiting for a response, be proactive, network, get referrals, and showcase your expertise. Even with the right application strategy, the best opportunities go to candidates who are seen as industry experts. If you're tired of chasing job postings, the key is flipping the script so recruiters and hiring managers come to you. In the next video, I'll show you how to position yourself as the go-to authority in your industry niche, so decision makers seek you out when they're looking for that next leadership hire. Go ahead now, click that next video, and let's take your visibility game to the next level.